Did you know the Chicken McNugget and the biggest hedge fund in the history of the world exist because of the same man? His name is Ray Dalio. He built a fund that managed $150 billion, and governments have paid for his advice. But before any of that, he was a C student from Queens, carrying golf bags for $6. And at 33, he lost everything. This is how he did it, from the very beginning. And fair warning, it might change how you think about being wrong. Raymond Dalio is born August 8, 1949, in Jackson Heights, Queens. An only child. His father, Marino, is a working jazz musician, clarinet and saxophone in Manhattan clubs. His mother, Anne, stays home and adores him. The family moves out to Manhasset, Long Island. Middle class. Ordinary. Invisible. School is a disaster. Bad rote memory. No patience for memorizing things he does not care about. C grades. But the kid loves earning. Paper routes. Shoveled driveways. Mowed lawns. Money means independence, and independence is the first desire. By 12, he is caddying at the Links Golf Club. $6 a bag. It is the early 1960s, the middle of a roaring bull market, and the men whose bags he carries talk about one thing on every fairway: stocks. And that same year, the caddy puts about $300 of bag money into his first stock. Northeast Airlines. His entire analysis? It is the only company he knows that trades under $5 a share. It gets acquired. The money triples. Here is the lesson that works just long enough to become a trap. Be right and win. He is hooked for life, and he is learning that his gut is golden. Then the ordinary childhood ends. At 19, his mother dies. The person who loved him most, gone before any of it began. He has called it the hardest thing that ever happened to him. His father, the jazz musician he mostly saw asleep at breakfast, steps closer. And the two become genuinely close. And the C student transforms, for two reasons. One, in college he can finally study what he loves. Markets. And grades stop being a chore. Two, it is 1968. The Beatles come back from India, and Ray learns transcendental meditation. He practices it nearly every day for the rest of his life and credits it, above everything else, for his success. The calm. The stepping back from his own thoughts. The kid who almost did not get into college graduates near the top of his class and walks into Harvard Business School. The 1970s. Ray is a clerk on the New York Stock Exchange floor the summer Nixon cuts the dollar loose from gold and watches the market do the exact opposite of what everyone expects. Oil shocks. Inflation. He falls in love with commodities, the unglamorous corner of Wall Street, because chaos is where the learning is. He trades at Merrill Lynch, runs commodities at Shearson, and his wild streak shows. On New Year's Eve, 1974, he punches his boss in the face. He gets fired. That firing turns out to be the best thing that ever happens to him. 25. Jobless, with a reputation, but his clients like how he thinks, and a few keep paying for his advice. So in 1975, from his two-bedroom Manhattan apartment, he makes it official. Bridgewater. It is not a hedge fund yet. It is one man, a daily research note called Daily Observations, and consulting work, which produces the strangest line on his resume. McDonald's wants to launch a new product, but will not move because chicken prices are too volatile to lock in a menu price. Dalio designs a hedge for the supplier out of corn and soybean futures, the real cost of raising a chicken. Prices stabilize. The Chicken McNugget ships. By 1980, he is somebody. Respected research, good calls, television. And now meet the villain, because it is not a person. It is his certainty, a lifetime of being right, compounding. His debt research says American banks have lent emerging countries more than they can ever repay. In August 1982, Mexico defaults, exactly as he predicted. Look at the world this lands in. The Fed has rates near 20%, the worst unemployment since the Depression, dominoes falling. So Dalio rides his correct prediction to the only conclusion the math seems to allow: depression. He says it on Wall Street Week on national television. He testifies before Congress. He positions everything Bridgewater has for collapse. Imagine betting everything you have ever built on one call. That is what he does. His firm, his clients, his name. He has never been more certain. He has never been more wrong. August 1982 is the bottom. The Fed eases and the market launches into one of the greatest bull runs in history, while Dalio is positioned for the apocalypse. The losses gut the firm. He lets everyone go, one by one, until Bridgewater is just him, alone, again. To pay his family's bills, the 33-year-old genius borrows $4,000 from his father, the jazz musician. Imagine that conversation. Broke and alone, he asks himself the question that changes everything. Not, where was my analysis wrong? The deeper one, how do I know I am right? And he realizes he has no answer. Feeling certain and being right are two different things. And certainty is the thing that just destroyed him. So the old belief, be right and win, dies in that office. The new one is its exact inverse. Assume you might be wrong, and build a machine that catches his mistakes. Do not hide doubt. Industrialize it. He starts writing down every decision rule he uses, hundreds of them, his principles, so they can be tested against history instead of trusted on feel. He hires people specifically to disagree with him. Meetings get recorded so anyone can audit any decision. Criticism flows up the hierarchy, not just down. Disagreements go to whoever has the best track record on that kind of question, not the biggest title. People call it strange, even cult-like. Dalio calls it an idea meritocracy. Strip the branding, and it is one thing. 1982 proofing, and it works. The firm rebuilds, and the giants begin to trust him. In 1985, the World Bank hands him part of its pension fund. In 1991, he launches Pure Alpha, a fund run on diversified, stress-tested rules instead of one man's conviction. And in 1996, All Weather, born from a question only a humbled man asks, how should my family's money be invested if nobody, including me, can predict the future? Then the framework meets its final exam. 2008. A debt crisis, the same kind of event he misjudged in 1982. This time, the read comes out of the machine, challenged, tested, doubted from every angle. And this time, Bridgewater is positioned right. While the average fund bleeds out, Pure Alpha finishes 2008 up roughly 9.5%. Same crisis type. Same man. Different operating system. That is the proof. After 2008, the money does not trickle. It floods. Bridgewater becomes the largest hedge fund on the planet, around $150 billion at peak. This chart is live, by the way. Bridgewater's actual current United States stock holdings, straight from the fund's latest SEC filing. One public slice of the machine, still running today. That is the achievement. Here is the transformation, and it is the part that matters. The 12-year-old needed to be right. The 33-year-old needed it so badly, he bet everything on his own certainty and lost it all. The man who walked out of that empty office spent 40 years building systems designed to catch him being wrong. And then he gave the operating system away. Free. The book. The 30-minute animated series. The TED Talk. In 2022, he handed over control of Bridgewater entirely. The caddie finally put down the bag. The story ends where it began. A kid whose gut felt golden became a man whose first question is, "How do I know?" His own words for all of it. Pain plus reflection equals progress. That is not a line he wrote for a stage. It is a price he paid. Next week, a medical student with one glass eye, posting stock pics on a message board at 2 in the morning, who saw the biggest crash of our lifetime coming while the whole world called him crazy. The Michael Burry Story. Subscribe so you do not miss it.